Speaker's Corner aboard the Villa Vie Odyssey, hosted by Kit Cassingham.
Good evening, residents. Welcome to Speaker's Corner.
Hey.
It's going to be a fun evening.
Hello, Mrs. Cassingham.
Your voice has changed.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
I know, so you had to replace it, yeah. So for those of you who do not know me, I'm Kit Cassingham. Good evening, Mr. Taft, and Mr. Cassingham, and Miss Gould. And okay. No, I won't do that to you guys. So tonight's talk is a little different. Our speaker's a little different. You'll see in a moment. He's been working in one capacity or another on various cruise ships since he was 22 years old. So he's been doing this a little while. He says he's been doing it for over 40 years. You decide for yourselves on that one. But he's been everything from the DJ all the way up to the cruise director. So I think you can think of him as your Julie McCoy. So help me welcome Bob Leininger. I forgot.
Absolutely
okay.
Correct.
And he's going to teach you how to be cruising through life. And look at this.
Well done, young lady. Very well done. Thank you. Big round of applause for Kit. Thank you so much, young lady. Good evening. And first, I want to say thank you very much to all of the residents. Everybody I've met on here has been absolutely wonderful, very friendly. When I was watching the YouTube videos before I came on, I heard the word community many times. And it really is nice that so many people are so friendly, and I'm anxious to see how long that goes. But for me, like she said, I graduated college, University of Iowa, December 22nd, 1985. I flew down to Miami January 2nd and tried to get a job. And to go back, in 1985, this was my internet. I had to go to the library at the University of Iowa and get all of the phone numbers for the cruise lines, and I gave them a call. And if you remember back then, the phone calls weren't free. Everything you had to pay for. So a college kid making minimum wage, making calls to 30, 40, 50, 60 cruise lines, and getting turned down by every single one.
Because you're American.
Because I'm American. And the sad thing is I had no plan B. I did my internship in college at ABC, KTRK in Houston, Texas. Had a wonderful time there. They offered me a job, but the money that they would have paid would have only paid for an apartment, maybe a car payment. I never would have been able to put any money in the bank. And ever since my beginning of working life, I wanted to have a comfortable retirement. So I obviously didn't do that. I ordered a plane ticket, flew down to Miami, rented a car, stayed at a place called the Everglades Hotel, if you could remember what that was. It was the cheapest thing you could get. There was a McDonald's within walking distance, so I could afford. And I just went from place to place. This was how advanced our technology was back then. Ooh, how many people were cool enough to have one of those things? Yeah, and they were like $2,000 when they came out. Absolutely nuts. But, so I fly down to Miami, knock on doors, and back then, you could get in and talk to people. You didn't have to have a reservation. You didn't have to have an appointment. The doors weren't all locked and bulletproof. You could drive up to an office, open the front door, and talk to somebody. I remember one day going to 7 different cruise lines, and of those 7 I got in, I was able to talk with 4 entertainment directors, and within 2 weeks I had 2 job offers. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because my parents, when I switched from engineering to communications, they figured they'd have a son living in the basement forever. And luckily, I got a job on this ship. It was the Emerald Seas, built in 1943. It was 42 years old when I got on it. Similar sizes here, without a doubt. These things are, when I saw that was only a 15-year guarantee, I'm like, psh, No, you got 10 on top of that easy, because these things last forever.
Honeymoon there.
You did your honeymoon on the Emerald Seas? Holy crap! I mean, I've only been on ships 10 years, so you're a young pup. Indeed. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the Emerald Seas, unfortunately, now is a reef at the bottom of the ocean. They cut it up and sank that thing. But I was a disc jockey on there, and back in the mid-'80s, so 1986, I started on the Emerald Seas. You remember what the most popular TV show was at that time? Miami Vice. And this, of course, is what I thought I looked good in. Oh, yeah. Who doesn't look good in a lime green leisure suit with a lemony t-shirt on and a gold-colored watch? Oh, I was living large. But I'm working. I mean, so the two companies that offered me jobs, the Emerald Seas offered the most money. The first year on the Emerald Seas, I made $932 a month. But I'm the disc jockey. I'm not buying drinks. Honest to God, here was my patter. I'd go, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bob. I'm your disc jockey in the Islander Club, playing the hits as we're sailing to Nassau in the Bahamas. Would you like to hear a song? Come on up and let me know. If you'd like to hear it tonight, I drink Miller Lite. And I had a tablet full of a paper tablet, not the electronic, paper tablet with like half full of just songs. And people would come up and like, oh man, it's going to take forever for my song. And I go, it doesn't have to. I was cheap, but had a great time. And for the first time, was able to get my family on to take a vacation. Instead of them paying for everything, I was able to get a couple of open rooms. They flew down. Here, before you see this picture, I do not want you to laugh too hard. I don't want to hear any heart attacks happening, because there's one story in here about me and my Uncle Joe, and I'll tell you who he is here. Here we are, the typical beach picture. Now, my Uncle Joe's on the far right, 5'4", 320, and I was a lot less weighty at that time. And there's a picture of him and I on the beach. And when you're young, 22, 23 years old, and all of a sudden from Iowa, not dating a whole lot, now these hot dancers are coming up to me going, oh my God, why are you wearing those giant board shorts? You should wear a Speedo. And you know, man, we're dumber than a bag of hammers. Some hot-looking woman tells us something, we are following that order. So there's a picture of me with my Uncle Joe standing each other. I swear to God, from a distance, we look like the number 10. But we had a ball. Now, the one thing you don't think about on cruise ships, accidents do happen. And today, when we had the boat drill, I hated it. I hated going to boat drills every time I was on a ship. Hated it, because it broke into your time. You had to wake up early, and you know, you go stand someplace, and you're told to tell the passengers to go here and here and here. But on the Emerald Seas, within a month of me getting on the ship, we had a fire and an explosion. And this is what happened up a crew stairwell went behind this cabin. And what the story was, we're at Little Stirrup Cay, which is our private island, which is now Royal Caribbean bought it and turned it into Perfect Day at Coco Cay, the water park. So we're pulling in, they drop the anchor, and they open up the shell doors so the tender boats can go back and forth. Now what happened earlier, a cleaner was cleaning up some wet paint. And instead of throwing the paint rag away properly, he just threw it in a locker and went away for breakfast. Obviously, what happens? It's spontaneous ignition, the rag lights up. The locker he decided to throw that rag in is where we stored acetylene tanks used for welding. Kaboom. It blasted, again, a crew stairwell was behind there, and this is when we had furniture that wasn't bolted to the floors. It blasted in about 4 inches. Dressers, tables, little things like that. Again, nobody hurt, nobody killed, little smoke inhalation, and that was it. Now, what we do on ships where everything is not included to keep people from complaining, free drinks. So we're at our private island. We unloaded everybody, took them over to the island. They're drinking for free all day. The crew are on board, cleaning everything up. We sailed back to Miami that day, and everybody, of course, got a free cruise and more stuff like that. But when I first started on cruise ships, you know this is a possibility, but you never think it's going to happen. You certainly don't think it's going to happen within 6 weeks of starting a brand new job. And I remember a phone call from the Quad City Times newspaper in Iowa, and they're asking me if I'm going to stay and work. And I don't know where this quote came from, but I said, if you bought a brand new car and got a flat tire, would you never drive again? I'm like, of course I'm going back to work. So go back to the ships. Now, my whole goal when I started working on cruise ships was to save $10,000, and then I could quit and do what I'm supposed to do, get a real job. Picket fence, buy the house, get the mortgage, kids, all of that. And when I had the money saved up, I'm going, wow, it's time to reevaluate. Because I'm a year out of college and I have more money in the bank than my friends do, even though I make 1/3 of what they do. I've traveled more in this year out of college than almost all of my friends. And finally, I love what I'm doing. Why would I quit that to do what I'm supposed to do? So I figured if I'm going to stay on the ships, I'm going to move up, get some more responsibility, and of course some more money. So I went from, when I went around my first interview phase, I interviewed with Royal Caribbean, and they said, Kurt Mackey, the entertainment director there, said, you know, we like you, but you got no experience. So I went back to Royal Caribbean. I gave them a call, basically said, I just did a year on the Emerald Seas. I'm ready to move up to the big leagues. And I started there within a month after I talked with him. He said there's a job available. As soon as he gave me a call and said, come join, then I called the other company. I was on vacation and said I resigned. So left the Emerald Seas, went to the Song of America, and this was the newest ship in the fleet. And it was massive, 1,500 people. Whoa, I know. And it was amazing. The Viking Crown Lounge, everything that goes along with it. But I'm cruise staff, and now I'm doing shuffleboard. I'm doing the bingo. I'm doing the ping pong. And it was hilarious because, again, going to the private island, you may see a theme in some of these pictures. Here's my island day. And Denise Harris, the girl in red, I just had dinner with her 2 months ago. She still lives in Florida with her husband and a couple of kids. And she was one of the crew staff. And then the girl on the right was a passenger from Southern California. And I don't know, somehow we started doing cheerleading things. And I've never done cheerleading things. But if, again, you're hanging out with good-looking women, you'll do anything. Now, I was shameless. And for 15 years, I put together my own Christmas cards. And this was pretty much it. That is a great Christmas card, isn't it? Holy God, it's very funny. When you're wearing a banana hammock, you just got nothing to hide. It's unbelievable. So, from the Song of America, Royal Caribbean had a brand new ship coming out. Biggest ship in the world, Sovereign of the Seas, 2,500 people. And they wanted me to work on that as a DJ, and I moved up to the sound and light director, basically the production manager, running the production shows, the dancers, all the rehearsals, anything that needed sound in it, like the dance classes. You had to run the microphone for trivia and bingo and all that other stuff. Had a interview. One of the writers from the Quad City Times came down, still living in Iowa at that point, and this is my life is good picture. Just going, seriously, I get paid to do this? Come on, how bad can it be? And look at that hair. Oh, don't you miss having hair with its own color? Yeah, I know. I can understand that. So, from working on the Sovereign of the Seas, a company came over. A brand new company was building cruise ships, and they were looking for staff. And this company was based in Southern California. So I'm like, how nice is that? Because during the time from the Song of America to the Sovereign, we moved to, my dad moved to California, and therefore my stuff was moved along with him. So from Royal Caribbean, Sovereign of the Seas, I moved to Crystal Cruises, maiden voyage of the Crystal Harmony, which was unbelievable. If you've sailed Crystal, you remember when they'd walk around and give you hot chocolate chip cookies with milk? Oh my goodness, in the afternoon, the waiters would come, white gloves, and these warm white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. Oh, man.
They do that here.
I must have missed it. I don't understand. So I was on the Harmony for 2 years as assistant cruise director. And a guy came on who was doing the shopping program, telling people where to go shopping. And back then, the bonuses, or you could say kickbacks, were tremendous. So I quit being an assistant cruise director and went, I'm sorry, different ship. So from Crystal, I went to Celebrity, and this is where I began as cruise director. 1992, I had been on ship 6 years, and now I made it to the pinnacle. I am now the cruise director. And amazing. It was so cool because you are in charge of all of these people's happiness. All of your little activities and shows and dancers, and so many people only get to take one vacation a year. And you realize why they are so livid when it rains and their beach day is gone, because they don't get another vacation for a year. And you just feel horrible for them. But it was a great time, and you really get grounded when you realize I can go to the beach every week. You know, this run, we did New York to Bermuda, and we're in Bermuda for 3.5 days, and I would play golf 2 of those 3.5 days for free. It was just fantastic. From Celebrity, that's where I met the guy who was making the money on the shopping thing. So I quit cruise director, and I went to Costa Romantica, another maiden voyage. And this, honest to goodness, the best pizza I have ever had at sea. So good. Man, oh man. So I was on Costa as the shopping guy, and we were doing a 7-day run out of Puerto Rico, 1 day at sea, going down to Martinique, Barbados, Antigua, St. Martin, St. Thomas on the way back, and then turn and burn in Puerto Rico again. It was a very, very busy schedule, but we had, it was amazing. It was such a good time, and it was the first time I was on a fully Italian ship, but it was a wonderful time. Now, there's a couple of things I passed over. Now, on the Crystal Harmony was my second ship evacuation. We had an engine room fire when we came through the Panama Canal. We were going west to east through the canal. I remember it was my 20th time through the canal. Love the canal. Most of you guys have all been through, correct? I love the canal. Yeah, it's fantastic. I went through the canal the 40th time on my 50th birthday. It was really coincidental. I've been through 53 times at this point. And it is, every single time I wake up to watch the front of the ship and go, how is it going to fit into that tiny little, it's just fantastic. And I still haven't been through the new locks. Seen them built, seen them operational, but we're still going through the other ones. Every ship I've been on goes through the other ones. And it's wonderful. The fact that you can raise and lower 100,000 tons with nothing but water and gravity, it's really incredible. I love the canal. So this is when I went. So I'm shopping boy on Costa, and it is a wonderful time. But I hear of a new company coming out that I would like to work for. It's called the World of Residency. And I was on there 2002, 3, and 4 as cruise director, but they don't have cruise directors on there. They don't want to have anything to do with cruise ships, so I was called the enrichment director. I'm there to enrich their lives. And the world, as all of you I'm sure have researched, is a little bit more expensive. Holy crap. So all of these numbers I'm going to give you are from 2002. And if you wanted the smallest place they had, the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,100 square feet, 100 plus square meters, 2.5, and the HOA, 2,000 plus a week. So $1.25, 5% of your purchase price. And that was 24 years ago. So I don't think it would have gone down since then. But it was amazing. You go to these, I remember going up to one of the residents' apartments, and it was in Martinique, and she picked up these French pastries, and I'm terrified that I'm going to make a mistake. And so it's me and 3 other of the staff, and we're up in her apartment, and it's not the tiny one, it's one of the big ones. And I drop this pastry onto her blue carpet, and it's like got creamy stuff on it. I'm just like, oh my God, I just wanted to hide. And instead I called housekeeping, and they were up there with a steam cleaner and everything. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm never eating in anyone's apartment again. But it was amazing. So this is the tiny one, but that's, how many people want to live in a tiny one? The biggest one we had, the corner units, there were 4 of these, $8,400,000 a year. And it was massive. I mean, every single apartment on the world has a hot tub on the balcony. So when you hear about the people who buy multiple units, and we had one guy who, this one certainly wasn't big enough. He was a single guy. And so he picked up the big one, and he picked up a $3 million place right next door. So 5,000 square feet, $11 million, $550 a year, or $1,500 every single time he wakes up. And the difference between the World and the Odyssey, your drinks are not free. Your food is not free. It's like buying a place at the Ritz-Carlton. You go to the restaurant at the Ritz, you're paying for it. So the same thing on the World of Residency. It's like a floating condominium. So you're paying your money, and then you're paying to live, and you're paying your maintenance fees. And it was unbelievable. I mean, I truly enjoyed it. Now down the road, when the World was built, they had 110 homes or mansions, whatever you want to call them, and they had 88 cruise ship cabins. And the cabins were a pretty good size because they all had balconies. And over time, they took half of the cabins and doubled them up into 1-bedroom suites, sold those for $1.8 million, took the remaining 44 individual cabins, sold them for $900,000 with a $45 a year HOA. So you could live on the World for less than $1 million, but not for long. The people who were buying the smaller ones were the residents who didn't want their family sleeping in their house. So they'd buy, it's only $1 million, why not? I mean, if your 3rd or 4th house is a $5 million place on a boat, they're not really worrying about, the cost of eggs. Where did the crew go? They have crew cabins, yeah.
Can you drop some names?
No, I don't release any of the names. I will tell you, one of the guys, and this is a contractor in Orange County, California. At the time, you can look it up, he was the biggest contractor in California. He had a place on the starboard side of the ship. And we were in the cigar lounge, big burly guy. I'll tell you his nickname was Bubba. And his wife was the same size, just not as big of a beard. But really a nice couple. And we're in the cigar bar chatting away, and he's like, he goes, I saw him on the ship, and I walked up to him, and he honest to God, ZZ Top looking guy. And I walk up and go, what kind of Harley do you have? And he goes, which one? And I go, oh, now you're talking. And he goes, yeah, and he was on a cane. He broke his leg on one of his bikes. And he's like, yeah, anyway, we're talking about that. And I told him, you go, like cigars, you want to have a cigar? I'll meet you in the bar later. He goes, yeah, that'd be great. So we're in there having a cigar, and he's only been on like a week or so. And I go, how do you like it? And he goes, I got to be honest with you. I got a place in Florida on the water, place in New York on the water. I buy a place on a boat, and I'm looking at a friggin' parking lot the first 2 days out of 3. And I go, you want me to call the salesperson and you can get something on the other side? Yeah, why don't you do that? That afternoon, he bought another place on the other side of the boat for another $5 million. So no matter where he goes to sleep, he wakes up looking at the ocean. At that point, he was making about $400 million a year. So he was doing all right. But it was truly tremendous. Now, here's a picture that many of you have taken yesterday or a couple of days ago. And we were in Sydney for 2 weeks when we were there on the World. And it was just absolutely wonderful. I have a buddy, if you see the white mid-rise behind him, or I'm sorry, the second tallest one behind him, a buddy of mine is a dentist who lives, well, I thought he was a dentist. He came on the ship, had lunch with him and his family. I met him on Crystal back in the mid-90s and had dinner with him there. I was in Australia, had him on the World. I went to his place for dinner. Last year, I was down there on Silver Seas, 2 years ago on Silver Sea. And I got off the ship, so I stayed a few days with him and his wife. And he told me, he goes, now, things are a little different since the last time you're here. He goes, we bought the whole floor. I go, I thought you said you were a dentist. And you go, well, I own a few dentists. I mean, offices. I go, really? How many? He goes, 13. I'm like, oh, okay. Now that makes sense. So he has the entire 25th floor of the building called the K, or the Key. Amazing. Anyway, great time there. I was on the World for a while until, like every luxury product that comes out, they overstaff it at the beginning. And then as time goes on, they figure out who they can get rid of. And what happened is, when I left on my final contract at the end of 2004, they said, when you come back, you're going to be in charge of the casino. And we're going to lower your salary. I didn't know how to react to that other than say, So I quit. And I went back to mainline cruising. I went to Princess, and I was on the, that one's the Grand. I don't know. It would have been 2005 when I was on it, but a massive ship. I mean, 2,600 people. And now we're at the time where the ship started to explode in size. And here's, again, my favorite cruise. I've been through the canal many, many times, and this was the first time I was allowed to get off the ship and get on those locks. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then this next picture just following the ship along the tracks. I'm like, this is amazing. I am so happy that this was able to work out. And I think that's the Island Princess, but I can't. It's one of the Princess ships. Anyway, it was just so good. And get back to cruise director. You're still doing all of the fun and games. You're in charge of all of the shows, the singers, the dancers. And the problem is people don't want to spend money, which I understand. But the complaints truly started rolling in as I started rolling around Princess. And then it just got, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm either going to quit or go to ultra luxury. So I quit. I talked with Silver Sea. They said yes. And I flew to somewhere in France to get on a ship there, and it was wonderful. And working with Silver Sea, if you haven't heard of them, they're ultra luxury, about $800 to $1,000 a day per person, all suites, all inclusive, except for the ultra stuff like Johnny Blue and you know, the $100 a shot stuff you're going to pay extra for. But it was phenomenal. So I went over to Silver Sea. I'm the cruise director, having a great time, and for the first time, I do the farthest north and the farthest south I've ever done in a 12-month period. I went around Cape Horn, South Africa, and while we're in Africa, in Durban, it was the golf team was so nice. They let me get on the course and play around there. And I don't know if I have a picture of it here, but they have a sign next to an electric fence that keeps the hippopotamus or the rhinoceros, I'm not sure what it is, from running across the course and killing you. And it is good. And this course was so cool because there was a runway that you had to give way to the planes before you teed off. That was so cool. I'm like, that's unbelievable. And the other thing on this course were monkeys. Cute monkeys, giant eyes. And I remember slicing one, which is rare for me, unless I'm golfing. And I just boomerang this thing, and I look under the tree, and there's these 3 little babies and giant eyes, and my ball's 5 feet from there. And then I look up into the tree, and I see Mama, knowing if I get within 20 feet of that, she'll rip my head off. I'm like, I can afford another Callaway, so I'll let that one go. And so the year I went around Cape Horn, South Africa, I went 150 miles north of the Arctic Circle in Norway as well. It was an incredible year. But speaking of the cold, that's when we went. This is my favorite shot in front of Hubbard Glacier. And we're able to see all sorts of really amazing things up there. The Silver Dawn was great. Oh, here's a shot where most of you will be taking pictures in like a week or so in Milford Sound. Beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. When we go up into the Sound and you're in between the mountains and the valley, it's just spectacular. Absolutely. If you still use film, load up on it because it's an amazing day. And now these are just a bunch of favorite pics from traveling around in Samoa. And these were the people working on the pier and loading. If you think about the logistics of a cruise ship and trying to get the food, the fuel, the carpeting, the hardware, the software, the people. Let's go to the next slide, shall we? Holy shit, did I hit a nerve there? I'm gonna take a break. Time to move on. All right. Oh my God. Have you guys been up in the Marina Bay Sands? Oh, is that amazing? Man, it's such a beautiful building. And when you get to the cantilever, you swear to God it's going to fall. But it is just a spectacular destination. Absolutely beautiful. And can anyone guess where this picture was taken? Whoa! I love doing the obvious. Now this is one of my favorite shots. This is what started me with my tall traveler thing. There are dangerous places on ships when you're over 6.5 feet tall. And it's brutal. I mean, even just over there, the ceiling height will bonk me on the bean if you head into the sound booth. Unbelievable. But I think we can all agree the best part of every ship is what? The crew are fantastic. They are phenomenal. It's a different breed that can work 6 to 8 months a year, 7 days a week. And it's a whole different world when you're on a residential ship because you guys don't leave in a week. They know what to expect every time. So you know why some people are darting around. But it is they really do work their tails off and they do an amazing job. So always want to give them their credentials. Now, yeah, give them a big round of applause. They deserve it. Thank you very much. They certainly do. When they're flying back and forth, it is not in business. Now, on Silver Sea, this was my Halloween picture every single year, and the 2 girls are my social hostess that speak 5 languages apiece. Unbelievable. These kids are just incredible. And the hot dog outfit, I don't know where it came from. They found it in storage. And here they are on formal night. This is our Charlie's Angels picture, I believe. Is that what they call it? But I don't know if they have a height requirement when they hire these people. But it really is absolutely wonderful. And now the other side of working on a ship is, what do you do on vacation? Do you have a place to live? It's so many people think that we either have a storage unit or you just couch surf for the couple of months when you're off. But I was very lucky when I started ships. Of the $932 a month I made, I put $800 in the bank, and I was able to buy my first house, a condominium, in late '86. So within a year of being on a ship, I bought a condominium in Fullerton, California for $93,000. 11 months later, I sold it for $156. And and from there, I just said, oh my God, I did all the math. I'm a nerd when it comes to numbers. And I'm like, the amount of money I made in equity increase compared to the money I made working was incomprehensible. So I'm like, I have to have at least one house from there on out. And thank goodness for real estate, because it allowed me to get here. Anyway, here's a great picture of Mom and Dad relaxing. We're on one of the Princess ships, and that's in the cigar lounge there. And this is something they never wanted me to do, so I didn't tell them until I landed. I went skydiving in Puerto Rico in the mid-90s. And the one thing I didn't notice until somebody mentioned it, how come the kid behind you has a helmet? And you don't. And all I could think of after that is, holy crow, I hope he didn't have a fight with his girlfriend before this. But it was amazing. When you go up in a plane and don't come down in it, it's really a different feeling. When you step out and you hit terminal velocity at $125 and you're just plummeting and the roar of the wind going by, and then you pull the thing and hope to God it goes, whoosh, and then it's dead silence. That's probably not the one to say. It's quiet. And then you float down. But it was just fantastic. Don't need to do it again. But had a great time then. Now, when I'm home, I ride the bike. I have had motorcycles since I could, I played ice hockey as a kid and then moved to Iowa, didn't have ice hockey there, so I played basketball. Once graduated college and was able to get my own, I picked up a motorcycle, did over 500,000 miles on 2 wheels, sold my bike in December because people now would rather look at their phones than the road. And I have been hit at least a dozen times by people coming out of their lanes. And honest to God, when they hit you, and I look over, they hold their phone up like an excuse. I'm like, you really shouldn't be looking at your phone when you're driving a 2,000-ton weapon, or 2-ton weapon. Anyway, so this was a great bike. My dad had a bike, and my brother's on the far left, and John's in the middle there, obviously. So that was up to Big Bear in the summertime. And then this was one of the cross-country trips somewhere in Arizona, I think. And it's just, when you're working on a ship and you're contained, and being the cruise director, you're visible everywhere, especially when you're 6.5 feet tall. And everybody comes up to you with every single question, whether it has, people are asking me about the fuel mixture. How many gallons does the fuel tank hold? Where do you guy your carpeting? How many light bulbs do you go through? And it's truly unbelievable. But when I'm on the bike and just riding around, it is absolutely fantastic. From here to Grand Junction, Colorado, could do in one day. I went from LA to, where was it? 8.5 hours. From LA to El Paso in one day. Never do that again. I had a ringing in my ears for days. I was afraid I ruined them. Ever since then, I've worn earplugs every time I used to ride. Now, the other part of vacation, years ago, had a girlfriend, Colleen Perry. We got along very well for a while. She started a nonprofit, 501c or something like CBC, what? C3. 9. It was a nonprofit. No one's in jail. We're fine. But this is one of the most rewarding projects I have ever been in. It's called Free to Be Me Dance. Now, we tried this earlier, and the computer doesn't work when it's on this mode. But this is the program we put together and taught dancing. Mostly ballet is what it started with, but taught kids with Down syndrome dancing. And it was, honest to God, again, the most rewarding thing ever. The news came and did a story on us, so here's the news story. I have no sound.
Shows us a class where
There we go.
lives are being changed, one dance step at a time.
Bella McHugh loves her life. You're 6 years old?
Yes.
Oh,
Today's my birthday.
no, it's not your birthday. It's January. But every Sunday feels like a party to her. Do you like to dance?
Yes, I love to dance.
See, this is a first for Bella. The chance to be a ballerina, all because of an extraordinary program.
It's not about structure and discipline.
Free to be.
Free to be me.
Designed to bring dance to children with Down syndrome.
She's so excited to come every week.
Hello, Miss Emily.
8-year-old Emily Flores told her mom she wanted to be a ballerina.
Every time she sees people dancing on TV, she always expresses that desire to be in a class and to learn all those steps.
I describe it as joyful chaos.
Colleen Perry founded Free to Be Me Dance. The licensed clinical therapist and former principal ballerina was inspired by a similar program on the East Coast.
It's been the most delightful project of my heart, the most profound and most fulfilling thing that I've ever done in my life.
While these kids are learning ballet and dance and obviously having an incredible time, they're also learning in a different way. This class designed especially for them.
The Boston Ballet program has given me my basis for everything that we do in Free to Be Me Dance.
Which one does the red one go on? Okay, on your right foot.
And what they found was that it was much easier to teach the children red foot, blue foot, rather than say right foot, left foot.
Left foot.
The other thing that they learned was complicated musical rhythms, piano, things like that, weren't so great for the children. Simple drum beats, simple rhythms are what the children really relate to.
And for the parents, it's a chance to relate to each other. For some, an opportunity they haven't had before.
And it's actually great for me too, because I have never met any other parents that have children with Down syndrome.
It's plenty of hugs, it's lots of love, and it's just a joyful thing to be a part of. When I watch the video of the kids and I in class, I just get so moved because they've given me so much more, I think, than I've given them.
You, Big Bob. No, Big Bob. Spin.
How was that?
Spin.
Yeah!
Yay, Big Bob. Take a bow, Big Bob.
Yes, take a bow, all the children do.
Big bow from the waist.
At the end of the 8-week program, a recital just like all ballerinas get. Ballet slippers, tutus, and tons of smiles.
And what do you want to be when you grow up?
I'll be a rock star.
A rock star? Yeah. Is that your superstar rock?
Yeah.
The beauty of this program lies in the beauty of these children, the volunteers, the teacher, and a willingness to allow these little ones to just be themselves.
Everything for the class is donated, from the musical instruments to the studio time at Westside School of Ballet.
And there you have it. They are absolutely nothing but love. These kids are amazing. And when we do a recital, like the Westside School of Ballet would allow our kids to open up the show, because they're not going to wait for 2.5 hours and get on. And so they come out and they did a dance to Over the Rainbow. And just beautiful. And we don't care if they're doing the moves. They're just out there doing what they remember the moves to be. And then at the end, when the audience applauds, oh my God, they do not leave the stage. They're just bowing and waving and blowing kisses. And anyway, that's by far one of the best projects I'm involved in. And of course, as everyone knows with pets, this is what happens when you start packing. And that is why I am cruising through life. Thank you so much for coming.